Welcome to a special episode of Chess Thoughts. Today, we're delving into one of life's most profound and universal experiences, loss. Not just the loss of loved ones, but the broader concept of losing. Whether it's a dream, a relationship, an identity, or even the illusion of control. Loss is as intrinsic to life as gain, yet it's something most of us struggle to face. What does it mean to lose gracefully? To accept loss as part of life's rhythm? And how can learning to lose help us grow, transform, and live more authentically? For the next 15 minutes, we'll explore these questions, breaking down what I like to call the art of losing in life. Let's start with a truth we often avoid. Everything in life is temporary. Every moment, every relationship, every success, even life itself will one day slip through our fingers. Yet, we live as though this isn't true. We hold tightly to the things and people we love, as if our grip could keep them from changing or fading away. This resistance to loss is natural. We crave permanence because it gives us a sense of stability. But life doesn't work that way. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final." In this, he reminds us that loss is not an anomaly in life. It is life. But this realization isn't meant to bring despair. Instead, it invites us to shift our perspective. What if losing isn't the end of something, but the beginning of something new? One of the reasons loss feels so unbearable is that it challenges our sense of identity. Think about it. When you lose a job, a partner, or even a dream, it's not just the thing itself that's gone. It's the version of you that existed in relation to it. For example, a breakup might make you question your worth or your capacity to love. Losing a job might leave you wondering, who am I without this role? In moments like these, it's easy to feel untethered, as though you've lost not just something but yourself. But here's the paradox. Loss often reveals parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. It strips away the external layers, the roles, titles, and attachments, and brings us face to face with our essence. Losing, in this sense, can be a form of becoming. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre believed that we create meaning in life not through what we have, but through how we respond to what happens to us. Loss, then, is an invitation to redefine ourselves, to grow into a new version of who we are. Another layer to the art of losing is understanding that it's not something we can avoid. In fact, trying to avoid loss often makes it harder. When we cling too tightly to people, possessions, or identities, we set ourselves up for greater pain when the inevitable happens. The Buddhist concept of non-attachment offers a different approach. It's not about not caring. It's about recognizing that everything is impermanent. By appreciating things fully in the moment, without trying to hold on to them forever, we can experience life more deeply. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze your fist tightly, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently with an open palm, it stays. The same is true for life. Learning to let go doesn't mean we don't grieve. Grief is a natural response to loss. But letting go means we don't resist or deny the reality of change. Instead, we allow ourselves to flow with it. But what about the kinds of loss that feel irreparable? The loss of a loved one, for instance, or a life-changing failure. How do we navigate those? First, it's important to honor the pain. There's no art to losing without acknowledging the depth of what's been lost. Grief isn't something to be rushed or bypassed. It's something to be felt. As the author Glennon Doyle says, grief is love's souvenir. It's our proof that we lived, that we loved. Yet even in the deepest losses, there's a potential for transformation. In Japanese culture, there's a practice called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold, highlighting the cracks instead of hiding them. The philosophy behind it is that something broken can become even more beautiful through its imperfections. This idea applies to us as well. Loss leaves scars, but those scars can become part of our strength and our story. They remind us not of what we've lost, but of how we've grown. Another important aspect of the art of losing is accepting that we can't control everything. Much of the suffering that comes with loss isn't from the loss itself, but from our resistance to it. We replay what happened, wondering what we could have done differently. We hold on to what-ifs and should-haves, as though we could rewrite the past. But control is an illusion. Life unfolds as it will, not as we want it to. And while we can't control the losses we face, we can control how we respond to them. This doesn't mean we have to be stoic or unemotional. It means we approach loss with curiosity rather than resistance. What is this loss teaching me? How is it reshaping my life? So, how do we cultivate the art of losing? It starts with small steps. Practice letting go in everyday life. Declutter your space. Release old grudges. Say goodbye to habits that no longer serve you. These small acts of letting go build the resilience we need for larger losses. Another practice is gratitude. Loss often makes us hyper-aware of what we no longer have, but it can also remind us of what we still have. By focusing on the gifts that remain, we create a foundation of abundance, even in the midst of grief. Finally, embrace impermanence. Instead of fearing change, learn to dance with it. Life is a constant cycle of gain and loss, beginnings and endings. When we stop fighting that cycle, we open ourselves to its beauty. As we close today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. Losing is not a failure. It's a part of living. It's through our losses that we grow, learn, and ultimately discover who we are. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need these words. Remember, the art of losing is not about avoiding loss. It's about embracing life in all its impermanence. Until next time, take care, stay open, and trust in the journey.